Hello, fantasy fans. I'm Tony Shabo, here with Ian Matt, and welcome to Fantasy Showdown. Former Jags cornerback Jalen Ramsey has finally been met with his request and has been sent off to the Los Angeles Rams for 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick as well. Ramsey has already made an impact in LA. Him and his teammates absolutely routed the Falcons last week, and it truly showed how much of a powerhouse the Rams defense is right now.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey, he's been one of my favorite players for a while now. He's always been that lockdown corner. He runs his mouth, but he makes up for it by making plays constantly. He's a big playmaker for whatever team's defense he's on, and he's just a big playmaker for whatever team.
Yeah, I feel like the Rams didn't really lose much on this trade. Yeah, they traded away some picks, but they also traded away Marcus Peters, and they got some from that as well. So I feel like the acquirement of Jalen Ramsey is an upgrade, a big upgrade for their team.
Yeah. In other news, Vikings receiver Adam Thielen suffered a hamstring injury after catching for a touchdown last week against the Lions. This should give some more touches to teammate Stephon Diggs, who has had an exceptional couple of weeks.
Yeah, Diggs, he can carry the bulk, I feel. Thalen's injury is a big blow to them, but Diggs can still carry the bulk for the team. He's been known to be in situations like this where he has to carry the team, and I feel like he can step up to it.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs, he's been a playmaker since last year. Last year he made a ton of plays, and especially last week against the Lions, he had quite a few catches for big yard gains, and he's a playmaker for that team, and now he's especially going to step up because of the injury Adam Thielen suffered.
Oh, yeah, and I feel like Thielen, it's not a big injury. It's not really big of a blow. I feel like he'll be back in a week or two.
Yeah.
And speaking of Stephon Diggs, a player you should look to start is Stephon Diggs, who is a lock for the wide receiver 1 spot this week as the Vikings face the Redskins, who have one of the worst defenses in the league, ranked at 26 in fantasy. Expect Diggs to have the bulk of the catches at the receiving end.
Yeah, he's going to have most of the catches for that team. As we said, he had a lot of catches last week against the Lions. He's just a big playmaker all around.
Yeah, and as we've seen, Kirk Cousins really likes to target Diggs. Like, as we've seen the past couple of weeks, he's been getting a lot of receptions lately.
Yeah. Another player you should look to start is Latavius Murray, who put up massive numbers against the Bears. With Alvin Kamara questionable for this week, Murray will be leading the rushes. The Saints are also playing the Cardinals, who ranked last in the league defensively on fantasy. Expect Murray to run all over them.
Yeah, Murray's going to have a great week, just like he did last week. He honestly, knows how to run the ball, you know? He's a great rushing running back. He's not really known for, being on the receiving end. He's just great at pulverizing defenses. And if Kamara were to start, I feel like they wouldn't use him as much. I feel like they'd start Murray and they'd use the bulk of the rushes for Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I don't even think Kamara is going to play this week. I think if he does, he'll get a couple snaps, but that's if he plays, and I don't even think he'll get that.
Yeah, I think if he were to play, he'd be more on the receiving end.
Yeah.
Someone that you should look to pick up on your waivers is Cardinals running back Chase Edmonds, who had a monstrous week against the Giants. Edmonds is looking like a top back in Arizona and is only picked up in 32% of leagues in fantasy. This pickup is a bit of a risk as David Johnson is still the running back 1 for the Cardinals, but Edmonds is still a solid backup running back for your team.
Yeah, Edmonds ran all over the Giants last week. I don't know exactly how many carries he had, but he had a lot of yards and just tore up the Giants' defense.
I feel like that's great for the Cardinals as David Johnson was really lacking last week.
Another player you should look to pick up is Packers receiver Marquez ValdesSchuster. This is a solid pickup as Devontae Adams is still out dealing with a toe injury. Scantling is only picked up in a little over half the leagues in fantasy and put up solid numbers against Oakland, scoring a touchdown and putting up over 100 yards.
This is really big for the Packers as Scantling is pretty much like one of their main options because as Devontae Adams is out, Geronimo Allison is also injured and might be coming back, but he's still coming back from an injury. So I feel like Scantling is going to have to carry that load in Green Bay.
Yeah, he's going to have to do most of the work there.
Well, now it's time to take a look at the scores from last week from our pick 3. This week I put up 41.2 points and Ian put up a sad amount of 21 points. This means that Ian will have to eat the spoonful of cinnamon this week. The loser of this week will have to eat a whole raw onion. So, Ian, who are your picks?
My quarterback's going to be Tom Brady for this week. My wide receiver is going to be Julio Jones, and my running back is going to be Ezekiel Elliott.
I don't know. Some iffy picks. I feel like I'm still going to blow you out the water this week.
No, I don't think so. You know, Tom Brady's always put up good numbers. Julio Jones gets a lot of catches, and Ezekiel Elliott's one of those running backs that'll just run through a team's defense.
All right. Well, I feel like I've got some picks that are going to make me a solid 3-0. I got Deshaun Watson, who's arguably probably one of the best quarterbacks right now, putting up amazing numbers. And I also have James Conner, who, although was on a bye week last week, put up insane numbers a couple weeks ago. And I have D-Hop, because D-Hop is just one of the best receivers in the league. He never disappoints.
Yeah, you got D-Hop. He's always a good receiver, but Deshaun Watson, he didn't have that good of a season last year. So, you know, I think even though he might have been doing good this season, I think he could just drop it any time and just not do what he needs to do for that team.
I mean, maybe, but we'll see who wins this week. Hopefully, you might have a chance. I'm not going to lie. But from Lanford TV, I'm Tony Shabo.
And I'm Ian Matt.
And we'll see you next week.